Hello and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Today we look at the massive Class A drugs conspiracy which saw high purity cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamine and cannabis fill the streets of Bristol, Weston-super-Mare, Swindon, Wales and Oxford has been crushed by police. Prosecutors described the conspiracy as sophisticated and professional as 6 members of the gang were jailed for a total of 54 years. Paul Fahey, Michael Anderson, Christopher Jones, Stephen Clark, Stephen Laidlaw and David Kavanagh ferried huge quantities of drugs. They were taken down by a supergrass who turned informant and told the police details of the operation. 8 men in total have been prosecuted for the conspiracy which applied drugs as far as Scotland. At Liverpool Crown Court, Paul Fahey, 42, of no fixed abode, was handed 14 years. Michael Anderson, 63, of Bracken Lane, Higher Bebbington, got 2 years and 7 months. Christopher Jones, 34, of Charwood Close, Prenton, was jailed for 11 years. Stephen Laidlaw, 35, of Oriel Road, Tranmere, got 9 years and 7 months. And David Kavanagh, 34, of Shaw Drive, New Ferry, received 5 years and 3 months. 2 more defendants, Ian Birchall, 34, of Gothic Street, Rock Ferry, and Stephen Clark, 43, of Castle Avenue in Ayrshire in Scotland, part of the controlling faction of the gang, were due to be sentenced 5 days later. Reports have these 8 men form part of the main conspirators in the massive Class A drugs enterprise, with more trusted lieutenants caught and sent to jail in December of 2018 and onwards. The drugs plot, based in Wirral, Liverpool, involved illicit hauls of drugs flooded into the north and southwest of the UK, some branching out to Scotland, while more drug avenues snaked down to Oxford, Bristol, Wales, Swindon, Milton Keynes and Weston-super-Mare. Around 200,000 ecstasy tablets were manufactured, many of them from a hidden press machine which operated in secret in a cellar of a property in Clifton Road in Birkenhead. The investigation was led by Titan, the Northwest Regional Organised Crime Unit, and their officers concentrated surveillance on the gang in operation nicknamed Manhattan. But detectives scored a major hit with their investigation when they managed to persuade another accomplice, but not yet part of this prosecution, to turn the tables on his pals and reveal all to the police. Ronnie Bateman took on the mantle of Supergrass and explained to cops exactly how the complex drugs operation worked. The organised crime group were primarily based in Wirral, with encrypted laptops and throwaway mobile phones as part of the day-to-day running of the enterprise. The Merseysiders used PGP devices, more commonly known as Pretty Good Privacy, which is an encryption program that provides privacy when sending texts or chat messages. 2 men who cannot be named for legal reasons headed the gang, making all the top business decisions, and who spent a lot of the time abroad. Those 2 men are said to have fled out of the UK to prevent getting caught. Mr. Fahey, also from Wirral, and who got the longest sentence, used to be one of the Echo's festive fugitives in December of 2017. Mr. Fahey had 19 different mobile phones, no legitimate form of income, and often swapped his phone numbers to avoid detection. He played a key role in the organised crime group and was in regular contact with one of the unnamed masterminds who cannot be named. Seizures were made by police at different stages of their investigation, including a 3 kilogram discovery of cocaine at an 88% purity in Scotland, worth up to £335,000. The large amount of Class A drugs seized was a fraction of what was actually involved. Cheltenham and Northampton were 2 more towns where the illegal product was flooded, with less powerful gangs operating in those locations to manage and ultimately the sale to desperate addicts. Detectives watching the gang and recorded 150 separate trips in and out of Merseyside, with drivers or couriers paid £1,000 per delivery. How the gang was snared by the Supergrass. A top-level drugs gang was snared by police after one of its members changed sides and turned Supergrass to bring his pals down. 8 men were part of a sophisticated organised crime group who flooded all areas of the country with their high-purity cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamines and cannabis. The Wirral gang was spearheaded by 2 men who cannot be identified, who remain fugitives and are believed to have fled the UK to avoid detection, Liverpool Crown Court heard. But the Class A drug peddlers were brought to their knees after senior drugsman Ronnie Bateman agreed to help detectives and give compelling evidence to the prosecution. His insight offered a peep behind the curtain, said Mr. McNally, into the daily dealings of the organised crime group, and described how different cells operated within the overall plot. Caught in a Merseyside police operation called Manhattan, the gang supplied and produced vast quantities of Class A and Class B drugs on a significant scale, prosecutor Stephen McNally said. This was drug dealing on an extensive and commercial scale, it was heard, with the organised crime group using encrypted laptops and throwaway mobile phones as part of their day-to-day running of the enterprise. Cars were used with complex hides, secret compartments that would stash away big quantities of drugs or cash, so the casual observer would see no criminal wrongdoing. Children even became sick after taking ecstasy. Police decided to strike after the spate of children became sick after taking some of the ecstasy, with around 10 hospitalised over a 6-month period, which brought fear to people across Wirral. The large amount of Class A drugs seized was a fraction of that actually involved in the huge amount of telephone contact between the men saw the defendants constantly chopping and changing their mobile numbers. Police went on to say Detective Superintendent Stuart Dixon of Lancashire Constabulary's Serious Crime Team said the organised criminal gang was involved in bringing huge amounts of Class A drugs into Blackpool and profiting from their illicit trade. One drugs factory in Prenton was discarded as the gang realised the noise from the press machine would quickly come to the attention of its neighbours. Mr. Fahili, 42, has twice been convicted for trafficking Class A drugs, receiving a 10-year sentence in 2006 for possession with intent to supply Class A and Class B substances. Michael Anderson, 63, of Bracken Lane, Higher Bebbington, was often behind the wheel transporting the two most senior gang members, driving them to and from the airport as they jetted off abroad. Christopher Jones, 34, of Charleswood Close, Prenton, was once caught with components for the MDMA making machine hidden in secret compartments in his car. So what are your thoughts about this Bristol-based drugs gang and how they peddled and profited from distributing various Class A and Class B substances to anyone who would take them? If not for the supergrass that led police to break this Bristol-based drugs gang, many more lives could have been seriously damaged. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay safe.